Okay, well, thanks for everyone that's joined us here, and welcome to the first in a series of webinars run by SSSize for BiteSSSize Best Practice. The aim, as it says in the tin, is to share best practice amongst the sector, look at some innovative projects that are tackling some of the most pertinent issues to colleges and universities across Scotland. So delighted that our first seminar is going to be delivered by RGU's President for Sport and Exercise, Kieran. They've been running a campaign since the start of the year to call full-time on initiations. So this is a big issue in sport, in the university sports sector that everyone's trying to tackle, and looking for the best ways to engage clubs, engage students to try and clamp down on inappropriate behaviour when it comes to these initiations and welcome weeks and things like that. So Kieran, if you don't mind, I'll hand over to you just now.
Yep.
And if you just want to share your screen and go through, there will be an opportunity at the end for discussion and to ask any questions. So if you don't mind just muting your microphones whilst Kieran's giving the presentation.
Does that work?
No, they can't see.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
It works, yeah. Cool. Okay, yeah. Hi, everyone. I think a couple of you maybe heard this before, but I'll try and put a slight twist on it. This is the first time I've done one of these, so bear with me if I get a little bit lost. But yeah, I'll just get started. So our initiation campaign, this is the logo that we're going to use for it, or have been using for it. And basically why we decided to do it was we have had a couple of issues in the past with a couple of clubs, and we basically wanted to be a bit more proactive and wanted to educate our clubs on why it's something that's wrong and something that needs to change. We're aware that also it's kind of part of the culture, and it's been part of the culture for years, so this isn't going to be a quick fix, but we basically just wanted to try and do something to see if we could change the attitude slightly. So yeah, it was kind of following on from the Newcastle incident, and also the work that Universities UK have been doing. The Newcastle incident was obviously, you've probably heard, it was basically someone over drinking through an initiation, and it kind of shows you how bad it can get, and they actually died from it. So it kind of shows the seriousness of the initiation part of it. There's obviously many partners, including Bucks and SSSize as well, who are really clamping down on it as well. So this is something we're trying to say to our members, is the fact that it's not just RGU Sport that's doing it. We're not being the fun police. This is something that the whole of the UK is trying to stop and trying to make people aware of. And I think that's a big thing for us, is trying to make sure the members don't think that we're the fun police, and that we're actually trying to help them. And I think if you are thinking about doing anything, I think you've got to prepare yourself to maybe take a little bit of criticism, a little bit of abuse at times, because this is a massive culture change for people. They're not used to it, and the biggest threat we've actually had is alumni themselves, speaking to club members, being like, oh, why are you not doing this, why are you not doing that? Because obviously in the past they've done it, and they're like, oh, you guys aren't having any fun anymore. This will only get better, because obviously alumni will get older and older, and if we can change maybe this the next few years, then the alumni will be more aware of it as well. So yeah, I would just be aware, if you are going to do anything like this, just be aware that it's not going to be an easy ride, and that you are going to have to take criticism, and sometimes it can be a bit personal, but that's just the way it is. If it can make change, then I'm happy to do it. What is the campaign? It's, as you probably know by now, it's hashtag full-time on initiations. Our rugby club actually came up with it just this year in September. We kind of sat down with them, with my VP as well, and then head of sport. And basically, we were going to initially launch it for RGU Rugby Club. We're going to launch it themselves, but we wanted to take a little bit of the heat away from them, because obviously that's a lot of pressure for them. And we kind of launched it as RGU Sports Clubs, with them helping us. And basically, it just involves each sports club posting a photo with a caption of why they're taking part in the campaign. As you can kind of see from an example at the side there, That's the hockey one. There'll be more examples later on as well. And yeah, we just felt that if we were able to get every club on board, it was going to broaden the amount of people we reach. And yeah, the aim is basically just to explain why this behaviour is not appropriate, and just to get everyone on board. It's run for 11 weeks. We're pretty much halfway through. It's scary how quickly time's going. But 3 clubs take part each week, so one on Monday, one on Wednesday, and one on Friday. So as you may have seen, yesterday was Athletics' turn, and they took part. So we've hardly had anyone miss a week or miss a day. And yeah, each club has to like and share each other's posts, because at first we were just going to have it that obviously Athletics, they would have to nominate. They nominated mountain biking to go on Wednesday, then mountain biking nominate whoever it is on Friday. And we were going to initially just have that club that's nominated share it. We felt it was more powerful if everyone shared it. And I think there's an example of what they have to do, but it's basically you just have to click send to story, and it just means that everyone's seeing it and every member's seeing it. And it means that after their day, they don't forget about it, which is a big thing. I'm just very quickly going to hand over to our RGU Netball president, Jordan Moore, to kind of give a club president's point of view, because it's all right me preaching it all the time, but it's always interesting to get someone else's point of view, especially from a club's perspective. So just for 30 seconds or so, I'll let her speak.
Yeah, so as Kieran said, I'm netball president. I think from a club's perspective, it's been good to have some education on knowing what's acceptable in social situations. Obviously, we're all adults, we know what we can and can't do, but since there are strict Bucks guidelines and SSS guidelines and UK guidelines on this, it's important for us to understand what we can and can't do. It's also brought a lot of sports clubs together, so all sharing the same posts, all sharing each other's, interacting with each other on social media has been quite powerful. I know as netball, we've been sharing it as a highlight, so it's there forever. It's going to stay. All the different posts from all the different sports clubs are there. And alongside this, we've also been encouraging sober socials as well, so not having the focus on drinking, having a focus on being together as a sports club. And I think this has really helped clubs do that more than they might have done previously. And also just engagement from other universities. So from a netball side of it, Strath Netball have been quite interactive, so they've been like liking all of our posts and sharing each other's. So it's good within unis, within sports clubs, if that makes any sense. So it's been really powerful, I think, from a sports club perspective.
Cool. Yeah, so the other thing as well, that we had to make sure that the university was on board with it. A few of you will know him, but Filippo Antoniazzi, he's our Director of Student Life. He's massively, obviously, supporting of initiation campaigns like this. He's looking at it from a broader point of view from the university, so he loves seeing this. I've also spoken to our principal as well about it, because they're all getting sent information from the UK governing body that's dealing with initiations as well. So it's good for them to see that we're being proactive, and we know there's obviously an issue there and we're trying to solve it. And obviously I've had support from all the staff at RGU Sport, including the Director of Sport, Hannah Leslie, as well, who's really keen to push campaigns like this and also improve it for the future, so that we can start to see behavioural change in the next few years if possible. As you can see, this is how somebody would share it. So this is RGU Rugby Club sharing basketball, I think, or whoever it. Yeah, basketball's post, and basically just attached to their story with the hashtag full-time on initiations. It literally takes them 2 seconds and it reaches so many people. And obviously I'll see, I don't know if you guys would see it because you won't follow all of our sports clubs, but it's pretty cool going on a Wednesday or a Monday going on and everyone's done it, and you're literally going through your Instagram stories and it's full-time on initiations, and it just means everyone's seen it. They can't not see it because it's the first thing they would see on it. How do we make sure it happens? This was something we really kind of struggled with at the start, just coming up with an idea, but we came up with a campaign schedule, which you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, and this got sent out to every club, and it basically has a date that they have to go, and they have to send the post to me a week in advance as well. This just means there's no excuse for clubs not doing it, because they've had plenty of time to see when they are and plenty of time to prepare their photo and things like that. The idea of having a week in advance was also so that I could see that it was an appropriate post. Not gonna lie, I have had a couple that have had beer cans in it and stuff, and it's like, gee whiz, that's not really the point. So if you are doing it, make sure you do get it a week in advance, because it's amazing what photos people will come away with. We did have a Facebook banner as well for the first couple of weeks. This was just to add to it because we are aware that it seems to be Instagram seems to be the most powerful social media at the moment. So we're fine with that, but we wanted to target Facebook as well, because this is also a massive social media site. So we got people to change their cover photo. I think a few still have it, but we just made sure everyone had it for the first couple of weeks, just to go along with the campaign. Again, just to broaden the people that are seeing it and just to keep strengthening the campaign. What's next? Obviously, this isn't perfect. We're aware of that. We're kind of running this as a pilot. I think after Christmas, obviously, when it's finished, it's important that we evaluate how this went. And there's things that we'd already change. For example, the hashtag full-time initiations, I think it's better if we kind of create awareness of a bit more in depth about what they can, what they can't do. I think a lot of the clubs seem to be, the president seems to be having an issue with where the line is, and we know the line is basically is zero tolerance, and we're creating awareness for why it is. But I think some clubs are even scared just to have a little bit of a theme night and things like that. So it's about working on how we come up with it. We know ourselves what we kind of want them to do, but it's also a lot of common sense that they've got to kind of work out themselves what's right and what's wrong. But we are thinking about maybe doing a little document or an infographic just to help them out as well. Because these presidents are going to take a little bit of criticism from their members, and we don't want them to feel like the pressure's on without us helping them as well. So yeah, we're also looking, I've obviously spoken to Leah and the other sports presidents around Scotland to see how we can maybe roll out the campaign across Scotland. But a few ideas that maybe we basically launch it, and then in the same week as launching it to our sports clubs, we say now over to Strathclyde, and then they would launch it to their sports clubs, and they would nominate St Andrews or something, and then they go. So by the end of maybe 3 weeks, you have everyone going doing the same campaign. And this would just be so powerful if we could do this across Scotland. But this is something that we obviously couldn't do this year, but I think it's something that we can sit down in the handover with the new presidents next in the summer, and just work out if they want to do it, and if they do want to do it, do they want to do it the same way, or do they want to make changes? Because I think it does need tweaking slightly, but that's always a good thing. And it'll be interesting to see what their twist would be on it. But I think if we can all work together on it, it's more powerful.